So, let's talk about God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Now, more God of War is just amazing to me. Like, I don't care, give me more God of War. I wouldn't have cared if it was a visual novel. I wouldn't have cared if it was a script. But the fact that it is free DLC, in this day and age, free DLC, which has a substantial amount of story, of gameplay, new enemies, new bosses, all with completely new movesets, and lots of other new things that I'll talk about later before I drop this, which is massive spoilers for the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC. I'm warning you now, don't go any further if you don't want to be spoiled, because I am going to talk about everything. I'm just gonna let it all gush out, because I am fresh off of going through all of the gameplay loops that I think I need to squeeze out all of the juicy bits. So yeah, that's why I'm going to talk about it now. So yeah, spoiler warning. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The fact that this is free and the fact that Sony Santa Monica just gave it to us is astonishing. And I will admit, I was just a teensy bit, pessimistic about the whole situation. I was like, okay, free DLC, cool. More God of War, amazing. But I wasn't expecting, that much. Like, they showed a Cyclops in the trailer. I was like, ooh, maybe they're gonna have like 1 or 2 Greek enemies, and it'll just be like a way for people to have an extended end game, because like God of War's end game was good. You had the pieces of Asgard, you had Gnar, the Valkyrie Queen. There was a lot of stuff to do, so it's not like it was lacking in end game content. But with Valhalla, you can just play God of War. You can just play God of War whenever you want to. And that's something I've always wanted, because I love God of War. I love the gameplay. I love just getting in there and just brutalizing enemies. So the fact that I just now have, more God of War to just, if I ever, I'm just like, I want to really let loose. Let me just throw on some God of War and do a couple of runs through through Valhalla. Boom. So, it's perfect for that. And I would have been happy with just that. But it wasn't just that. It was a lot more. And can I just say, just before I even say anything, I just have to say it to the universe. I don't care if it's never heard, but I just have to say thank you, Sony Santa Monica, for giving us such an amazing gaming experience. God of War is just like the first God of War, perfect. God of War Ragnarok, perfect. Valhalla, perfect. All of it together, a masterpiece. A true gaming masterpiece. Okay, so let me break it down. Let's break it down to make this ramble a little bit more coherent. So we'll start with gameplay. So gameplay, amazing. It's your core God of War gameplay, but with a little bit of a twist, which is that you have all of the unlocked moves from the base game. So every single weapon tree is fully unlocked, so you have all your moves. But, because it's a roguelike, as you progress through Valhalla, you have to select specific enhancements, specific runic attacks, specific hilts. So, you have to kind of like play a different game. And even with the mastery challenges and all that, different challenges that kind of incentivize the idea of having a variety in your playstyle, which is something I definitely didn't have in the base game. I will say that with complete honesty, because I'm the type of guy, I find my build, I stick with it. I'll tweak it when I get something better, but that's it. Like, I won't experiment. So all through God of War Ragnarok, I was basically wearing the same armor until I got better armor. And I never really tried out different armor. I would just look at their stats and be like, okay, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that. I mean, I own it, but I'm not going to try it out because I know what I need. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to take that, I'm going to take that. Same with the hilts. I didn't really experiment with hilts. I would just read their description, try them maybe once and be like, that's not for me. And on top of that, runic attacks too. Runic attacks are the same situation. But in Valhalla, you don't get a choice. You have to try other things. You have to make them work. You have to kind of experiment, and you have to optimize what you have in order to survive to the end. And that's something they really pulled off. And I am so glad that it's added a new flavor to God of War combat for me, because I already loved God of War combat. And then now I love it even more. It's like, I like this meal. It's quite tasty. Oh, but hold on. Let's put a little bit of Tabasco sauce on there, a little bit of spices, a little bit of boom, and it makes it taste even better. So yeah, that's the gameplay aspect. Now I'm just going to jump right into the story, because that is the part that I can't, this is free. I have to keep reminding myself, this is free. So, Valhalla's story is Kratos goes to therapy. That's literally what it is. Fighting while coming to grips with his history, with his memories, all of the things that he'd done in his past that he can't quite reconcile with yet. That's how Kratos works through his stuff. And, you know, when you reach to the top of Valhalla, guess who's waiting? Our boy Tyr. Tyr even says it himself that while the body is occupied with fighting, the mind works things out. And he's a god of war too, you know, he understands Kratos, he understands what he has to do to kind of get where he needs to go. And where he needs to go is accepting the fact that he can be a god of war again. And that's something I really love, because at the end of God of War Ragnarok, we saw that there is a future for Kratos that he never expected, which is that he could become a worshipped god again, a god that was revered and loved and not out of fear. And he teared up at the thought of that, you know, the thought of a path that he never imagined. And the thing I love about Valhalla is they didn't just leave it there. They didn't just say, oh, okay, yep, he's just going to keep going on, doing what he's doing, and that's how he's going to get there. No, he still has so much messed up trauma inside him that he still needs to pick apart. And Valhalla is there for him to do that. You know, he works through everything that he hadn't already. He already reconciled with the fact that he killed his father. He already reconciled with all of that, but he never really got into like the guts of his problems, you know, with Ares, with his daughter, with his wife, with everything that happened to Greece because of him. There was so much stuff that he left behind, and now he has to face it, because if he wants to become a war god again, he needs to know he is better. And that's what the story is about. That's the journey. And the thing I also love about this story is that you have so many like little things that they didn't have to add. Like they had Mimir re-experiencing his life as Puck, you know, in the court of the Fae. Of course, it's off screen, it's like mostly conversations, but it's still good story content. And you also have some of the Valkyries or Shield Maidens having their backstories flushed out, and also a couple of visits from Freya too. All of these little details that didn't need to be added, but they make everything so much better. It's just something I appreciate so much. Now let's get to the part of this that I think everybody was overjoyed to see. When you finally get past the lower realms and you reach Greece. And guess who replaces Mimir on your hip? Helios. That's right, the sun god whose head you tore from his shoulders to use as a torch. Now I just gotta say, from the throne and getting Helios, to the blade of Olympus, to Greece, to fighting Greek enemies, there was just a massive smile on my face, and I couldn't stop. I literally was just like, no, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. There's no way. There is no way that they gave us the Blade of Olympus in a free DLC. And it's, hey, listen, not only did they give us the Blade of Olympus in a free DLC, they also updated the base game so that you can use the Blade of Olympus in God of War Ragnarok outside of Valhalla. What? Okay. Okay. But yeah, so all of that, amazing. And then on top of that, you have the Labyrinth, you have more Greek enemies, the Wraiths, the Legionnaires, the Sirens, the Minotaurs, the Cyclopses. Oh my god, going back to old locations like the Aegean Sea, going back to the Desert of Lost Souls. What? The Forum. Huh? Okay. What is going on? Oh man, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And I gotta say it again, I'm sorry, it's gonna be annoying, but it's free! This is free! Can you imagine? They could have easily charged for this and nobody would have complained. Nobody would have complained. You're essentially getting a brand new story. No, not essentially, you are. You're getting a brand new story, you're getting brand new enemies, you're getting brand new bosses, you're getting a brand new weapon. All of this for free. And can I just say, the bosses, I love Magni and Modi coming back, that's cool, but Tyr is, well, top tier. He is one of the best bosses in God of War history, because he is basically Virgil. If you've ever played any of the Devil May Cry series, Virgil is basically just like the mirror of Dante, who is like the player character that you usually control. He basically has like the same kind of move mechanics as Dante, and Tyr is like the reflection of Kratos, because he fights with multiple different weapons. You know, he style switches, or like switches weapons to fight, and uses different like kind of runic attacks essentially with each weapon. And the cherry on the top of this sundae is that Tyr, as we know from the first game, was a traveling god. He went to all of these different lands, you know, visiting different places in the world. He has hieroglyph tattoos on his arm, so he's been to Egypt, and we also saw that he's been to Japan, he's been to Mesoamerica, and he's been to Greece. And his weapons reflect that beautifully. I mean, you should have seen the look on my face when he pulled out the Aztec club with the little flute that plays as he does it. Like, I love the leitmotifs as well that play every time he takes out one of the weapons. So you got like the kind of like ancient Egyptian music when he takes out the twin kopeshes, and then you've got like the Japanese music when he takes out the katana. It's like, what is happening? And each weapon gives him like crazy attacks. Like, he's using blood magic, he's creating like darkness, he's creating clones of himself and like whirlwinds. Oh my god, I can't, because like I love God of War for many reasons, but one of the reasons is that I love mythology. Mythology has been like a huge part of my life since I was a kid. I just, in anything that has any kind of mythology in it, I ingest. Give me all the Greek, Egyptian, Norse, Japanese, Celtic mythology. You can I just eat it all up. And just seeing Tyr represent like crossing over mythologies, oh man, it blew my mind. But yeah, anyway, Tyr, amazing boss battle. Like, and the fact he had so many unique attacks was, beautiful. Okay, so I've talked about the bosses, I've talked about the gameplay and the story, the mechanics and everything. So I guess all that's really left to talk about, because this is just my like initial ideas, I'm just like letting everything spew out of my mind, fresh and unedited, and just boom out rambles. So I'm just thinking if there's anything else that I'm missing. I guess all that's really left to talk about is the ending, which is that once Kratos grapples with some of the aspects of his past, he goes through the door that Tyr has been guarding, telling him to go through it when he's ready, and he meets his past self. And he has this amazing monologue. I mean, hats off to Christopher Judge. My god, this monologue was so good. It was so good. The way that Kratos was just airing everything out, the way he was just talking to this past version of himself like he was a completely different person, and then slowly but surely he realized this is him, this is a part of him. He cannot excise that part of him by running away, he cannot excise that part of him by forgetting about him. But the fact that it is him is not a bad thing. You know, the things that happened to him. He needs to learn from his past mistakes. He needs that trauma to be used for good. He doesn't need it to define him anymore. And because it doesn't define him anymore, he realizes that he can become a god of war again, one that is good. And the game phrases this beautifully. Good is not a destination. It is a journey. One that we have to continuously keep going through over and over and over and over and over again. You can't just do something good and be like, yep, I did it. I'm here. I am good forever. You have to try. You have to do the work. You have to be better forever. You have to keep being better. There is no, I am better now than I was then and it's done. No, you keep going. And I didn't think a DLC would carry such an important lesson. Like, it's not just for Kratos, it's for everyone. You have to keep trying. You have to keep going. You have to be better. That is the whole entire point of these games, these new God of War games, is you have to be better. You have to be better. And the fact that Santa Monica has taken a character like Kratos and just completely rehabilitated him into somebody who you should aspire to be, somebody who is not just strong, not just powerful, but wise and compassionate, is just utterly jaw-dropping. utterly jaw-dropping. And like any good epilogue of a Greek tale, Kratos delivers his monologue, and it ends with him taking the throne and wanting to just sit. But of course, it doesn't end there, because guess what? This is a roguelike, so you can keep going through Valhalla as many times as you want, fighting through the lower realms as much as you want, fighting through Greece and the Labyrinth, and fighting Tyr, and fighting all of these mini-bosses as much as you want. On and on and on, getting stronger and stronger each time, unlocking multiple different things, getting stronger, all of that, as much as you like. This, in my opinion, is a perfect DLC. Perfect in every way. Because it doesn't just serve as a perfect epilogue to God of War Ragnarok's story, it serves as a perfect epilogue to God of War Ragnarok itself. Because while the story may have been wrapped up, it gives us the chance to still experience God of War Ragnarok in new and different ways, and that's what any good DLC should strive to achieve. But, and this is a big but, I would not say no to more God of War Ragnarok DLC. I don't care if it's free or not. Listen, I'm a sucker for God of War. Just give me more of that mythology and I'll eat it up. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching this ramble about God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Completely impromptu, unplanned video. I kind of got to the end of the storyline of God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, kept playing it a little bit more, went through a lot of cycles, and I kind of was like, I really want to talk about this. I really want to just get my feelings out about this DLC, and boom, I did. So thank you for listening, and if you want to see some of my other videos, I got one video on God of War, I got some other videos about other things I like, take your pick, and if you want to subscribe, feel free to. Anyway, thanks, and have a good one.